Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone. We thought for preparing ourselves for Gopurnim to explore a little bit the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya that are happening during the day. We call that the Astasakalya Lila of the Lord. And I was listening to a lecture from His Holiness Sachinandana Swami when he was speaking of this particular meditations or lila of the Lord, that this is actually there to help us to remember Krishna and never forget him, which is like one of the main instruction that Krishna is giving in the Bhagavad Gita, that we always think of him. And this is what our Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition is bringing to us, to help us to actually remember the Lord all the time. So therefore, the pastimes of the Lord are divided during the 24 hours of the day, so that at any moment of the day, one can look at the watch and say, oh, this is now 7 o'clock, 5 minutes. What is the Lord doing right now? And help us actually in this way to remember the Lord, and hopefully to always be able to remember the Lord, to think of the Lord all the time. Holiness Sachinandana Swami was giving the example of parents who might also look at the time and think, oh yeah, my child is now in the school, or my child is now doing this. So this is an example of how we can actually try to remember the Lord all the times. His Holiness Sachinandana Swami was giving actually a very deep thought on this. He was saying that there is a substantial difference between religion and spirituality. And there he gave a very powerful example. He said that in religion, we tend to take Krishna in our world, and we ask Krishna for help, for this, for that. We connect with Krishna being here in the world. But he was saying in the spiritual dimension or spiritual level, we actually go into the spiritual dimension. We go actually into the world of Krishna with our consciousness. And he was giving example of he was saying that when we go in the spiritual dimension in our meditation, we will bring something from the spiritual world with us here back in the material world. And he was giving the example of visiting a perfume shop in Tehran. He was there in Tehran and he went to a perfume shop where there was like oil, rose oil, and it was just so fragrant that when he came out of the perfume shop, all the devotees said, "What's happening, Maharaj? You smell so fragrant." So Maharaj was giving the example that when we do this type of meditation and with our consciousness we go into the eternal dimension of the spiritual world, we will actually bring something from the spiritual dimension with us into the material world when we are finished with our meditation. Okay, so this is what we will try to do today. I will start sharing my screen. We will have few pictures also. Okay, here, and I will also add a little background sound so it works. Do you already hear some background sound?
No, Prabhu.
No. Okay. So now you should be able to hear something. Is the combination of my voice all right with the background sound? Yeah, okay, great. Okay, so let's try this experience today to hear about the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya during the day. Before, we will hear today the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya that are taking place between 3:36 in the morning up to 6 o'clock in the morning. the first morning session. And this in Boma Lila, in the pastimes in this world, this is happening in Shiva Sangam place, the place where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will have this night kirtan during the whole night. So we will now go to Shiva Sangam. You can please look very carefully at the picture. You can enter the gate, go inside of this beautiful place, eventually position yourself under a big tree, maybe in front of the temple. So watch very, very nicely the picture. Take it in your consciousness. You can feel like the pictures come in your consciousness and you enter into the picture. Now you can close your eyes and visualize the picture in your mind's eyes. See yourself inside the courtyard of Shiva Sangam, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is doing his night kirtan. And now you will offer your humble obeisances. And be in front of the altar, where the whole Panchatattva deities are. It can be just under a tree. You offer obeisances to this very spiritually enlivening place, Shiva Sangam. Remember your spiritual master asking for the blessings today to enter the spiritual dimension of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's master. Now you can open your eyes. And before we will read today, we will do what we did many times. We will meditate on few sections of today's pastime. And before, I would like you to look very carefully at the picture of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We can remember that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the form of Radha and Krishna. It is Lord Krishna in the mood of Srimati Radharani came back in this world to experience this love of Srimati Radharani. Listen carefully on the lotus feet, up his legs, his chest. Look at his arms, his shadow. It's beautiful. And now just close your eyes for 1 or 2 minutes and try to see the picture of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in your mind's eyes. As you visualize his beautiful form, you can feel his presence in your heart. Okay. So we will now have the first meditation, And maybe you could ask Diksha if you could read it. We will again read it 3 times, like we used to do in the Nityananda meditation. But this time, the third time we will read it, or Diksha will read it, we will close our eyes and we will try to see the description inside of our mind that we can. I did not find any picture of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu resting, lying on his bed, which will be for today's meditation, but we can just imagine it in our mind's eyes. Diksha, if you could read.
Thank you.
His long limbs put to shame, luster of molten gold. His hair hangs in bunches of curly locks, and his pearl necklace lies tangled with his jasmine garland. The upward lines of his beautiful tilak shine with the splendor of sandalwood paste. Around his face, the dots of foam and musk are enchanting. Jeweled earrings rest against his glistening cheeks, while the arc of his eyebrows conquers the arrows of Cupid. Again, 3 times.
Yeah, read a second. Yeah, we will read 3 times, so 2 more times. And the last time, everyone can close his eyes and try to see the description in his mind's eyes.
His long limbs to shame the luster of molten gold. His hair hangs in bunches of curly locks, and his pearl necklace lies tanked with his jasmine garland. The upward lines of his beautiful tilak shine with the splendor of sandalwood paste. Around his face, the dots of kumkum and musk are enchanting. Jeweled earrings rest against his glistening cheeks, while the arc of his eyebrows conquers the arrows of Cupid.
Okay, please close everyone your eyes and try to see the description now in your mind's eyes.
His long limbs put to shame the luster of molten gold. His hair hangs in bunches of curly locks, and his pearl necklace lies tanked with his jasmine garland. The upward lines of his beautiful tilak shine with the splendor of sandalwood paste. Around his face, the dots of kumkum and musk are enchanting. Jewel earrings rest against his glistening cheeks, while the arc of his eyebrows conquers the arrows of Cupid.
Thank you. So we will have another one, and this time we could ask maybe Krishnalaya. Would you like to read 3 times the next description?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
His two lotus-like eyes are closed in repose. His thick black eyelashes are motionless. His splendidly colored lips defeat the hue of bimba fruits, while his slightly smiling mouth enchants the universe. His arms are adorned with bracelets of 9 jewels. His hips are wrapped with a very fine white cloth, while his upper body is partially covered with a splendorous cloth, the border of which is woven in ornate golden flowers. His two lotus-like eyes are closed in repose. His thick black eyelashes are motionless. His splendidly colored lips defeat the hue of bimba fruits, while his slightly smiling mouth enchants the universe. His arms are adorned with bracelets of 9 jewels. His hips are wrapped with very fine white cloth, while his upper body is partially covered with a splendorous cloth, the border of which is woven in ornate golden flowers.
Now we can close our eyes and as Krishnalaya read the last time, we try to see it in our mind's eyes.
His two lotus-like eyes are closed in repose. His thick black eyelashes are motionless. His splendidly colored lips defeat the hue of bimba fruits, while his slightly smiling mouth enchants the universe. His arms are adorned with bracelets of 9 jewels. His hips are wrapped with very fine white cloth, while his upper body is partially covered with a splendorous cloth, the border of which is woven in ornate golden flowers.
So much, and we will have a last one before we start the reading. And this one, let's see, to whom we can ask. Maybe Ayatakshi, would you like to read the last one?
Okay. Little Tanya's sleep broken upon hearing the words of the parrot. His two lotus eyes opened slightly. In his mind, he is fully aware of the Kunja Lila of Vrindavan, and thus meditating on the down pastimes performed by Radha and Krishna in their bower house. He remains motionless and pretends to continue sleeping. Chaitanya's sleep broken upon hearing the words of the parrot. His two lotus eyes opened slightly. In his mind, he is fully aware of the Kunja Lila of Vrindavan, and thus meditating on the down pastimes performed by Radha and Krishna in their bower house. He remains motionless and pretends to continue sleeping.
And now close our eyes and try to see it in our mind's eyes as Ayadakshi read it last time.
Chaitanya's sleep broken upon hearing the words of the parrot. His two lotus eyes opened slightly. In his mind, he is fully aware of the Kunja Lila of Vrindavan, and thus meditating on the down pastimes performed by Radha and Krishna in their bower house. He remains motionless and pretends to continue sleeping.
Thank you very much. So we will now start with the reading. I will have to share on the screen differently. Aha. Oh, no, it's not this one. Sorry. I think here we have it. Yeah, should be. Let's see. Yeah, should be the right one. Purnamasi Mataji, are you there and will you be able to read today? I know that sometimes.
Yes, I'm here. Yes, I'm here.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. If you could start with the reading.
Yes. The beauty and splendor of Sri Gauranga in his sleeping chamber.
Maybe
At the
shortly,
end,
Purnamasi,
please.
before you start to read, we will. It's today's reading is there are actually a lot of descriptions, which is maybe not very easy to keep in mind, but still you should imagine that during the next week, if we get to be awake before 6 o'clock in the morning, that we will try to make this exercise that the tradition is showing us, that we will remember the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya during this time period. So we will have to extract some small pieces here and there of things that we will remember. So as the reading is going on, we have to locate maybe here and there some small details that we will try to remember during the week. Thank you. Please start reading.
At the end of the night, Gaurachanda is in his sleeping chamber. The golden bedstead is inlaid with solid coral and is decorated with pillows covered with pure white cloth. Tall, strong golden posts grace the four corners supporting the canopy hanging overhead. Swinging from all edges are long strands of very tiny pearls which appear like the celestial river flowing down from the heavens. Covering the mattresses is pure white silk, in the middle of which rests Gaura Dvijamani, the jewel of the twice-born Brahmanas. His long limbs put to shame the luster of molten gold. His hair hangs in bunches of curly locks, and his pearl necklace lies tangled with his jasmine garland. The upward lines of his beautiful tilak shine with the splendor of sandalwood paste. Around his face, the dots of kumkum and musk are enchanting. Jeweled earrings rest against his glistening cheeks, while the arch of his eyebrows conquers the arrows of Cupid. Attempting to find a suitable comparison for the splendor of Gauranga's closed eyes, even the Creator, with all his skills of supremely refined craftsmanship, is baffled to the utmost extent of his imagination. Who has created this form of Lord Gauranga's? His two lotus-like eyes are closed in repose. His thick black eyelashes are motionless. His splendidly colored lips defeat the hue of bimba fruits, while his slightly smiling mouth enchants the universe. His arms are adorned with bracelets of 9 jewels. His hips are wrapped with very fine white cloth, while his upper body is partially covered with a splendorous cloth, the border of which is woven in ornate golden flowers. His thin Brahmana thread is visible there, supremely pure and white. The palms of his hands are reddish, like blooming water lotus, and the sparkling auras of his finger rings destroy darkness all around.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll ask Vajayanti to continue.
The nicely constructed golden temple is pervaded with happiness. On the four sides are four bejeweled terraces with gazebos. On top of the temple are flags and golden jugs and strands of pearls, so large that they look like full moons. Both sides of the temple are beautified by 8 crystal pillars supporting rows of swans formed of silver. In 4 directions are 4 gates studded with jewels and inlaid here and there with emeralds. The golden doors shine with their solid coral balls, and crystal frames glitter like rows of candles. Ranks of huge mirrors are fixed on the walls, and they are painted with scenes of Radha and Krishna. The 4 directions shine with 8 round windows on the doors, which are expert in mocking the orb of the sun. Those round windows are lined with brilliant sunstones that are bordered on the inside and outside edges with rubies. The temple's altar, corridor, and courtyard and staircase are beautifully formed of solid crystal slabs. Within the temple, by the sleeping chamber, it's a flower garden. Sitting upon branches, here and there are cuckoos and other birds. The cool breeze flows with the pleasant fragrances of various flowers, while the branches of the trees sway along ever so gently. On both sides of the bed are golden tables with jewel boxes containing betel nut and golden pitchers full of scented water. On the floor in front of these tables is a beautiful place for rinsing the mouth. Gauranga is awakened, overcome with the fatigue of sporting vigorous kirtan. In the corner of the room sits a parrot in a golden cage. Seeing that the night has ended, the parrot becomes very restless. And with a blissful mind he thinks to himself, "Oh, I will wake Gauranga." As he winks, his wings blossom with thrill bumps and his eyes flow with tears. He calls out with a very sweet voice, "Arise, Gauranga, the dew is settling upon the morning." Seeing the approaching pink of the rising sun, the bumblebees have abandoned their resting place in the lotus flowers. Seeing the direction illuminated with glorious light, the she-herons have arisen and playfully come to mingle with the he-herons. The swans and cranes and other water-dwelling birds have all gone to the bank of the celestial Ganga river. All the birds headed by the doves have begun their cooing and chirping, and the people stir about the town, seeing to their own work. The deer have left their formation and wander in smaller groups for grazing on the fresh grasses. His sleep broken upon hearing the words of the parrots, his 2 lotus eyes open slightly. His mind is fully aware of the Kunja Lila of Vrindavan, and thus, meditating on the dawn pastimes performed by Radha and Krishna in their bower house, he remains motionless and pretends to continue sleeping.
Maybe we could ask Nikunja Biharini if you could read the next part.
Okay. Hare Krishna, thank you. In another room sleeps Srimati Vishnu Priya Devi, who quickly gets out of her bed upon seeing the arrival of morning. She walks slowly in drowsiness and goes to Sachi's courtyard, while her eyes roll to and fro. Hearing the sweet, relishable sound of her anklets and ornaments, Sachi opens the door and steps outside to greet her. Seeing her daughter-in-law, she speaks in pleasant words. "I am busy with household chores now. You may go and bathe in the Ganges." Then, in order to pamper her son, Sachi proceeds very quickly with anxious mind. Entering his sleeping chamber, she silently comes before his bed. Piercing his dying form very, very tenderly with her hand, she considerately speaks in soft and gentle voice. Arise, dear son Gaurachanda, it's morning. The townspeople have arisen and are sitting outside in anticipation. Shrivasa and all the other devotees are very anxiously waiting to see you. Please get up and give up your sleep. Arise and go wash your face. The Lord begins his day hearing his mother's words. Gauraraya stretches his body and sits up in the bed. At this moment, Sita Thakurani, the wife of Shri Advaita, arrives along with Malini, the wife of Srivasa Pandita, and other chaste wives of the devotees. Having all come and met together at Sachi's home, they enter Gauranga's sleeping chamber. All the ladies of the town also proceed there with anxious minds just to have darshan of Gauranga. Mother Sachi lights a ghee lamp scented with camphor on a golden tray, then jubilantly places it in the hands of Malini, who waves it as aratik to the gorgeous Gauranga Chanda. Gauranga Sundaram. The male servants attentively bring in a golden footstool full water pitchers, a tongue scraper, tooth powder, and so forth. Leaving the room, Gaura comes out into the courtyard. Going to another room in the house, he conducts his morning activities. When he comes out and sits down with his feet upon a footstool, after brushing his teeth and other duties, he goes and sits on an elevated sitting place. Then his devotees, who have also just finished their morning practices, begin to arrive. Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita, Gadadhara, Mukunda, Murari, Haridasa, Vakreshvara, Shuklambara Brahmachari, Shridhar, and others. Coming together at the Lord's house, all the devotees successively offer their respects at his feet in the appropriate manner. Then Prabhu Nityananda comes and sits to the Lord's right, with Gadadhara on the left, and the devotees on all four sides. Before them sits Advaita, the Lord of Shantipura. What splendor manifests here! It cannot even be described with words. Then Vishnupriya Devi very playfully goes in the company of her girlfriends to bathe in the Ganga river. The complexion of her body conquers that of a golden lotus, and her most lovely face radiates the splendor of how many moons. Her feet are decorated with reddish leg dye, and her ankle bells are trimmed with jewels. Her sweet gait mocks that of a royal swan, as her anklets resound like a chirping of sparrows. Her entire body ridicules the softness of fresh cream. Amidst jokes and laughter, she bathes in the Suradhuni.
So now we can close our eyes and we will go again through the pastimes in our meditation. And as we go through the meditation, I will remind you of a few of the sections that we were hearing. So we can start by remembering Sri Chaitanya resting on his white bed under a canopy that has a string of pearls, looking like the river of the celestial Ganges. His long limbs put to shame the luster of molten gold. His hair hangs in bunches of curly locks, and his pearl necklaces lies on the bed, tangles with the jasmine garland. The upwards line of his beautiful tilak shines with the splendor of sandalwood paste. Around his face, the dots of kumkum and musk are enchanting. Jeweled earring rest again his glistening cheeks, while the arch of his eyebrows conquers the arrows of Cupid. His two lotus-like eyes are closed in repose. His thick black eyelashes are motionless. His splendidly colored lips defeat the hue of bimba fruits, while his slightly smiling mouth enchants the universe. His arms are adorned with bracelets of 9 jewels. His hips are wrapped with very fine white cloth, while his upper body is partially covered with a splendorous cloth, the border of which is woven in ornate golden flowers. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is inside the golden temple, which is decorated with flags on the top, and pearls are hanging. Those pearls are so large that they look like moons. See the walls of these temples, which has mirrors and pictures of Radha and Krishna. The temple altar, the corridor, the courtyards, staircase are all made of solid crystal slabs. See the beautiful garden inside that temple, next to Gauranga's sleeping chambers. This garden is filled with many birds who chirp sweetly. The breeze is moving the soft branches of the trees and carries a pleasant fragrance. In the sleeping chamber of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are golden table next to his bed, with betel nuts and scented water. There is even a parrot in a golden cage, who is slapping his wings and with tears in his eyes awaken Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Vishnupriya is walking slowly in drowsiness, and when Sachi Devi hears her ankle bells, she comes to greet her. Sachi Devi entered the room of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and caress his body and wake him up softly with gentle words. Then the wife of other devotees are coming, Malini, Sita Thakurani, Sachi Devi light up a beautiful arati lamp, gives it in the hands of Malini, who offer an arati to Lord Chaitanya. Then all the associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu come close to him. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells them about his dreams. They all sit together, Nityananda on Mahaprabhu's right, Gadadhar on his left, Advaita Acharya in front. They look so beautiful. Keep this beautiful image in your consciousness. Please now offer prayers to Lord Chaitanya. You might like to open your eyes. I hope it was possible for you to meditate and see some of those pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. The main idea of these types of meditation is really to see it in our consciousness. And when we can do that, it goes in a deeper place in our heart and can stay, make a deeper imprint of Krishna consciousness in our heart. And I hope we all bring with us something from the eternal dimension that we were trying to visit in our meditation. It's not always easy to meditate and to be there and to see something clearly in our consciousness. Is very often connected also to the purity of our heart. And yeah, but if we just try to do it, the Lord might actually just reciprocate by appearing in the meditation and giving us some deeper feeling of Krishna consciousness. So we are a little bit finished earlier today. If any one of you have any comments or anything you would like to add to today's presentation, feel free. And otherwise we can just peacefully go in the day, through our day today, remembering Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Just thank you very much. It was very helpful, and thank you for organizing. Just this morning I woke up and it was early. I couldn't sleep because I was arranging something for today in my mind. It was very creative, and then I thought if I would consciously needed to die at this moment, would I think of this thing or of something else? And so this is really a nice way to attract Krishna. Maybe we attracted Krishna and that he can appear in our day. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I remember in one of his lectures, Bhaktivedanta Maharaj was saying that when we try to meditate on the Lord, often because our consciousness is not yet so pure, we see a vague form. But because we are trying, when Krishna sees, oh, here my devotee tried to meditate on me, then Krishna enter this vague form so that we can actually experience his presence. So that's I found very encouraging that even though our mind might not be fully pure and our meditation not so clear, just by trying actually to fulfill Krishna's instruction in Bhagavad Gita to always think of him, Krishna is very happy and might just manifest. And I I think even our attempt today make a deeper imprint in our consciousness to read few times the same and to try to see it brings a deeper Krishna consciousness, and I'm very happy that we can do those programs with all of you, and happy to have your association also.
May I say something?
Sure.
I would also like to thank you very much. It was really very nice. And I just wanted to tell that normally it's very difficult for me to, to close my eyes and imagine either Lord Chaitanya or Lord Krishna, how he looks. And it's what you said, that it's just, he's just not coming. I just try, but it's difficult. But somehow today that we were reading, in the beginning, those little meditations 3 times, and then we read the text, and then you helped us meditate again. Now it was somehow I could see something, and I'm really grateful for that. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Really,
Thank you. Thank you. So I hope you can take a little something with you, and remember during the week, if you manage sometimes to be awake before 6 o'clock, try to remember, oh, what is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu doing now? You can remember him being lying on the bed, pretending to sleep, but being absorbed in remembering Radha and Krishna dressed with his white cloth, fine, must be a longi or something like this, on the white bed, and so on and so forth, what we were hearing today. Okay, then if no one else have something to share, we can end here for today. And I'm not so sure if we should continue with this type of meditation for the next 3 weeks before Gurpunim, or if we should maybe make a switch, maybe one day with Chaitanya Bhagavat, which is also very, very beautiful, and having stories that are a little bit more moving and maybe a little bit more easy to meditate on. Or maybe I will make a little, or what do you think? Any one of you have any idea how it would be good to continue, or any desires? Would you like to have 1 week one week the other, to have maybe a little bit more how you say, not difference but variety, or what do you think?
I would, if I can say, I would be glad if you continue with those eightfold pastimes.
Okay. Okay. I see.
And maybe
Yeah, me
just
too.
one comment. Maybe just one comment. It was so beautiful. I was actually impressed how much opulence was around Lord Chaitanya. Because actually we worship Lord Chaitanya when he was a grihasta. So I have to remember this, everything was golden, and the garden, and how the devotees came with this anticipation to meet him. It was similar when the devotees or the inhabitants of Raj are meeting Krishna. And so the inhabitants of the place where Lord Chaitanya lived, they are hardly waiting to come and see him. And the opulence, I have to really remember that this was a beautiful place full of, everything was very, very nice, and yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. Also, you give us a very nice example. You could capture some emotions. You could capture the emotion of the Navadvipvasi, who are very anticipating to meet with the Lord. And that's also a very nice way of doing meditation to, as we go through the reading, actually to capture the different emotions that are exchanged into the pastime. Very nice. Thank you so much. Okay, then I wish you a wonderful day. Thank you for joining, and may Lord Chaitanya be ever present in the chamber of our heart. And see you next week. Hare Krishna.
Gauranga, Gauranga.
Yes.
Thank you, Radheshyam, Gauranga.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji and Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Well,